The film opens up in a research facility, where a gathering of detestable men, outfitted with metal lines, are severely going after human bodies concealed underneath a sheet. Soon after, the top of the examination, Dr. Beck shows up there and proposes that they generally hold back nothing. Following her orders, the men keep raising a ruckus around town, regardless of a couple of them actually moving. Amidst the horrendous scene, 2 children figure out how to escape from the lab. Furthermore, Dr. Beck's group, drove by Mr. Choi, makes an honest effort to get them. After a touch of pursuing, they catch one youngster, named Aristocrat, who makes reference to that he attempted to pursue the young lady yet got injured by her, all things considered. Hearing this, Dr. Beck teaches Mr. Choi to continue to search for the young lady, as she is equipped with supernatural capacities. The next morning, not a long way from the lab, a rancher, Koo, sees the oblivious young lady close to his field and races to help her. Concerned, he brings her inside his home and along with his significant other, calls a specialist for help. The specialist guarantees them that the young lady can recuperate truly, however tragically will not recollect her previous existence. A decade go by, and the young lady has grown up and is currently named Jaeyoon. Since Koo and his better half could never have kids, they chose to embrace her. Presently, Jaeyoon assists Koo with ranch tasks and has become extremely near her receptive mother, who is giving early indications of dementia. Also, the family is confronting monetary issues as the cost of dairy cattle continues to drop. Koo examines the need to sell their steers. In any case, Jaeyoon contends that selling at such low costs would bring about critical misfortunes. One evening, after a fast shower, Jaeyoon experiences an extreme headache that brings her to tears. The aggravation is painful, which totally numbs her detects. In any case, luckily, it doesn't keep going long and she before long returns to predictability. The next day, Jaeyoon heads to school with her dearest companion, Myung-hee. Unexpectedly, the last option proposes that Jaeyoon ought to partake in a forthcoming singing rivalry, which is offering a powerful winning award of $500,000. Jaeyoon concurs immediately, since winning could help pay for her mother's clinic charges and take care of their cash issues. In the following scene, Jaeyoon goes for the tryout and shockingly scores the most elevated, acquiring an greeting to Seoul. That evening, while at the same time watching her tryout with her family, her folks find that she exhibited supernatural capacities on television. This cautions them, yet Myung-hee safeguards her, asserting that exceptional abilities are famous these days. She likewise consoles them that all that will be fine and that Jaeyoon's abilities will help her benefit additional openness. Prior to sleep time, Jaeyoon solaces her restless mother, promising that she is doing this to help them. Sometime thereafter, while Myung-hee is resting adequately, Jaeyoon encounters another cerebral pain. In the interim, Mr. Choi subtly notices her from a good ways, as her personality has been uncovered during the tryout. The following day, the young ladies take a train to Seoul for the following period of the tryout. During the excursion, a youthful person sitting before them professes to know Jaeyoon. In any case, our young lady doesn't recollect him. Here, we discover that the person is, in all honesty, Aristocrat. He even refers to her as Ms. Witch and attempts to slap her. Apprehensive, Myung-hee shouts and raises a big ruckus, making Aristocrat leave, however not before he tells Jaeyoon that they will meet in the future. As he leaves, he finds a moderately aged man and put-downs him. At the point when the person attempts to fight back, Aristocrat mercilessly polishes him off and throws his body off the train. Afterward, after arriving at the studio, Jaeyoon conveys an extraordinary execution. This acquires her a ton of help from the adjudicators and thus, she gets a spot in the quarterfinals. Somewhere else, Dr. Beck is likewise watching the tryout on television. She delicately grins, as though she is glad to see the young lady alive. In the interim, as Jaeyoon enters a washroom, she endures one more fierce cerebral pain. This time, she even faces a nosebleed. It is deteriorating to show that her disease. In a flashback, we are shown that when Jaeyoon visited a specialist, he illuminated her that the migraines would almost certainly guarantee her life inside 2 to 3 months. The best way to save her is a bone marrow relocate from her organic guardians. Back to the present, Jaeyoon and Myung-hee are getting late to get back and they sit tight for a taxi outside the studio. Right then, at that point, Dr. Beck's men approach the young ladies, endeavoring to hijack them. However, luckily, a gathering of youngsters leave the structure simultaneously and divert the men. Quickly jumping all over the chance, the young ladies get into their taxi and later take a train to get back. Upon their landing in the station, while Myung-hee gets in touch with her father for a ride, Aristocrat shows up before Jaeyoon and undermines her, cautioning that he will hurt her folks assuming she does not go along. When he leaves, a terrified Jaeyoon urges her closest companion to call her father for help. Myung-hee's father, Mr. Do, is a cop, and he visits Jae-yoon's home. There, he finds Aristocrat and his gathering hanging tight for somebody. Detecting something not right, official Do pleasantly demands their recognizable proof and requests that they leave the premises. Minutes after the fact, the young ladies get back yet can't track down anybody inside the squad car. Overreacted, they rush inside the house, just to find their dads playing chess together. Prior to leaving, official Do asks if Jae-yoon knows the ones who visited her home and she answers with a no. Somewhere else, Aristocrat and his gathering stand, a previous up to a teacher partner of Dr. Beck's. It is uncovered that he has as of late severed all binds with the association, and is declining to coordinate. Accordingly, Aristocrat, with his supernatural power capacities, utilizes a weapon and kills the teacher alongside his loved ones. Subsequently, they put a match to his home and leave the scene. The following day, Dr. Beck meets with Mr. Choi and recommends that he get away in Europe. She additionally trains him not to slow down her undertakings once more. The last option is troubled. With this choice at the end of the day conforms to his prevalence requests. Prior to leaving, he cautions Dr. Beck about Jae-yoon, depicting her as a beast who should be wiped out. In any case, the specialist will not do as such. During supper, Jae-yoon's family communicates worry about the mother's disease. Her dementia is declining, and she can never again perceive even her girl. That evening, Jae-yoon is again stirred by extraordinary agony from another serious migraine. In the interim, Dr. Beck's men slip into the house and undermine Jae-yoon's mother with a weapon. They additionally take Myung-hee as a prisoner. Before long, Jae-yoon becomes mindful of the circumstance, and as she gets up, she winds up encompassed by a gathering of equipped men. At first, Jae-yoon attempts to keep quiet and begs the men to disappear. However, when one of them makes a slight cut on Myung-hee's neck, she gets maddened and releases her unprecedented capacities. She moves at the speed of light and disposes of every one of Dr. Beck's men mercilessly. After the last thug is dead, Jae-yoon acknowledges what she has done and starts to overreact. At the same time, Aristocrat shows up, dazzled by her actual capacities, and makes sense of that Jae-yoon was designed in an unexpected way. He cautions her that in the event that she doesn't follow him, he will hurt everybody in the town. Meanwhile, blazes of recollections rush back to Jae-yoon, yet they are as yet lacking for a total memory of what happened with her previously. Aristocrat offers to help her recapture her recollections yet demands that she should accompany him. Trusting that the lab can fix her cerebrum jumble, Jae-yoon concurs. Prior to leaving, however, she demands Myung-hee to deal with her folks. In the meantime, Mr. Choi gathers all the field specialists, prepared to kill Jae-yoon. Then, Aristocrat and Jae-yoon show up at a neglected research center where Dr. Beck has been pausing. Jae-yoon is then brought to a cross-examination room and attached to a seat. Dr. Beck invites her, and conveys through a speaker from the other room. She uncovers that she had been searching for her for more than 10 years. Following this, Dr. Beck cuts to the chase, promising to help Jae-yoon in recuperating her recollections. She then, at that point, orders her men to infuse a serum into her. As the serum produces results, Jae-yoon starts to recollect the investigations directed on her and different kids. Here, it is uncovered that Jae-yoon was one of the trial subjects, and Dr. Beck was accountable for the entire situation. The whole investigation was led to decide the mind's otherworldly capacity. In the present, Dr. Beck claims that she's currently the world's top mind-trained professional and that Jae-yoon was one of her most surprising manifestations, explicitly prepared to be a savage killing machine. She likewise cautions Jae-yoon that her headaches are a side effect of a sickness connected to her capacities. What's more, without legitimate treatment, her cerebrum can detonate. As the discussion proceeds, Jae-yoon indeed experiences outrageous torment. This makes her drain from different organs and leaves her attempting to relax. At last, Dr. Beck signals one of her men to manage another serum to Jae-yoon, guaranteeing it is the best way to save her from death. She additionally specifies that the serum will re-establish her capacities completely, yet its belongings will endure just a month. Be that as it may, Jae-yoon's response to the infusion shocks everybody. She passes an unpleasant grin to the specialist and uncovers that she never lost her recollections. She was just imagining with the goal that she could arrive. Jae-yoon further uncovers that she deliberately exhibited her ability in the tryout to draw the specialist's consideration. Presently, with her capacities completely re-established, Jae-yoon starts to make confusion. Abruptly, she breaks, liberated from her limitations, and wipes out Dr. Beck's men in the cross-examination room. In a frantic endeavor to obstruct her, the specialist arranges the arrival of nerve gas. However, sadly, Jae-yoon grins at her, makes a couple of strides back, and escapes through the roof. Before long, She returns behind Dr. Beck and requests to know where the remainder of the serum vials are kept. At the point when the last option falters, she shoots her in the kneecap. In the meantime, Aristocrat and his gathering are en route to the research facility, where Mr. Choi and his men block them. A savage fight unfurls between the two gatherings, and Mr. Choi's men at first increase the high ground. Be that as it may, a warrior from Aristocrat's gathering named Bushy Young Lady totally reverses the situation. In the following scene, as Jaeyoon is hauling Dr. Beck, Aristocrat makes up for lost time and unexpectedly assaults her. He cautions her that he's not equivalent to previously and takes part in a savage fight. Be that as it may, Jaeyoon at last loses him. In any case, before she can polish him off, Mr. Choi shows up at the scene and shoots her. He then, at that point, turns towards the specialist and without letting her say anything, kills her. At the point when he moves his concentration back to Jaeyoon, she has proactively recovered from the shot injury. What's more, in a split second, she kills Mr. Choi by savagely breaking his neck. Minutes after the fact, Aristocrat recovers and illuminates Jaeyoon that they are the specific ones left. He likewise uncovers that the leftover vials of the serum are in the control room and conjectures that the Central Command's examination office might deliver it. While she is occupied, Aristocrat endeavors to shoot Jaeyoon in the head, however she evades the assault and over cuts him with a blade, eventually taking his life. Afterward, Jaeyoon effectively recovers the excess vials of serum from the control room and leaves, however not prior to setting the lab ablaze. She then, at that point, visits her supportive guardians at the emergency clinic and furnishes Koo with the serum to dial back her mom's dementia. Quick forward by 90 days, Jaeyoon visits the twin sister of Dr. Beck. The last option perceives her from her document and gives her a folder case brimming with blue serum. Be that as it may, Jaeyoon uncovers that she looks for a long-lasting answer for her concern right then. At that point, a scar-shrouded young lady remains behind the specialist, and the film closes with Jaeyoon taking steps to kill the lady on the off chance that she even lays a finger